I'm a CPA, and our office here is a public accounting firm. Actually, I started in New York in 1969. I worked there for 2 years, and because of the nature of my work, I have traveled all over the United States. And I was assigned in Chicago for maybe 2 to 3 weeks, and I kind of like the environment of Chicago. I feel like Chicago is a good business environment. It's easy to do business in Chicago. So when I went back to New York after my 3 weeks assignment here, I asked my boss if I can be transferred to Chicago. And in July of 1970, they transferred me to Chicago. I worked for them until 1974 when I started my business. Don't forget, the reason I decided to move to Chicago is because of the easy of doing business, and I feel like I have to start doing business, and that's what I did in 1974. We have been in business for, as you can see, more than 40 years, and we are one of the largest accounting firm in the United States. We're cited as in the top 25 largest accounting firm in the Chicago area. I cannot say that we're 100% Filipino, but it's almost 100% Filipinos working in this company. Well, definitely we're hardworking. We're very professionals. Our dedication to work is very exemplary. I have to mention the healthcare industry workers. The Filipinos are well known, at least in this area. They get all kinds of admirations, praises, not only from their patients, but from their employer, and including the community. You will not be surprised if you get news that some Filipino get awards or recognition because of their dedication and professionalism. But it's not limited to healthcare industry. You're talking about accountants, engineers, lawyers, and other professional Filipino professionals. We're noted for our work culture, which is a very hardworking Filipino symbol. Well, again, because of our professionalism, our work culture, most of our staff are an alumni of SGB. If you're familiar with SGB, that's the largest accounting firm in the Philippines. And Washington CC, who is my mentor, I probably got all kinds of ideas from him, and that's why we end up where we are now. Well, it's a definitely welcome news for Filipinos. Again, we have almost 100,000 Filipinos in the Chicago area, and we've been waiting for this for the last 5 years. I still remember that his father, I think when he went his last trip from the United States to the Philippines, I think his last stop is Chicago. So I think historically Chicago is very important to the Benigno family, to the Aquino family, I'm sorry. And this is definitely a very historic event, and the Filipinos are welcoming it. In regards to the question of what should he focus on in terms of the remaining terms of his presidency, I'm very, education is very important to me. I was a working student when I was in college, and I started working when I was in high school because I came from a not-to-do family, and I have to work myself through college. So I think public education is very important, and it's very important to me, but I think it's also important for the country. Whenever I have an opportunity to go to the Philippines, I try to visit schools, and I visited a lot of high school in Cavite, Iloilo, and Bulacan, Laguna in particular, my hometown. When I was growing up, there were only 2 high schools in Hagonoy, and I was so surprised that right now there's 6 public high school and 3 private high school. and that's a big improvement. But when you look at the high school, the classroom itself, I was so shocked when I see that there's 50 to 80 students in a classroom. How can you expect a student to learn in that kind of environment? I think, again, if I have one wish, I wish that the Philippine government will focus on public education and provide a good educational system. I'm very successful in the U.S. I don't see why we cannot be successful within. We don't have to get out of the Philippines to get a good paying job to support our family. And I think by starting from providing the basic education, I think that will help not only the population but the country and the economy as a whole. Well, as I said, the Filipino in the Chicago area, I definitely give him a warm welcome because, as you said, this is his first visit. But of course, the expectation is high. The Philippine economy is going, and it has gone since he became president. The stock market is booming in the Philippines. Economy is booming in the Philippines, but we still had a lot of OFWs. Why are those professionals leaving the country? Aren't we providing enough work for them? What's going to happen after his presidency? He has been a good president. If you look at the history, our previous presidents or presidents before that, all the presidents between his mother and his presidency are all corrupt government. They all went to jail. So I cannot say that he's the best president that we had, but at least he's probably one of the most successful presidents that we had. So what's going to happen after his presidency? Is the next president will continue his program? Are we gonna go back to the same old days where we have a corrupt government? Those are the things that the people from Chicago wants to hear. Is this good government going to continue? We feel like we have a good government now, but is that going to be continue after his term expires in 2016? So that's the biggest question that we want to hear from him.